What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. That's right, I said it. Diaries of a Drug Addict. What? Wait, Corey, what do you mean, man? What do you mean? Look at you. You're wearing UFC gear. You're fit. You know, you're almost a 50-year-old man. You're a professional. You work a salary job. You have a beautiful family. You're married. You have a home. You have a hot tub at your house. And what's more, you have all of your teeth. What do you mean, Diaries of a Drug Addict? Don't tell me that you have struggled with drugs. I'm here to flip your mindset today. A drug addict is not someone that you see on the street. Hey man, you got any more of those, can I get some change? So I can go buy some crack on the corner. This is a stereotypical mindset that has infiltrated our society over the past, I'd say 30 years, 40 years, that you can spot a drug addict. Well, that guy's definitely on drugs. Look at him. He's definitely on drugs. Or the flip side of that coin, look at that guy. I mean, this guy looks like he's got it all together, man. He dresses nice. He's in good shape. He works a good job, still has all his teeth. There's a few crowns in here, by the way. Few crowns, even an implant. I've even got an implant back here in the back. So, don't let the full smile fool you. So, I call this channel Diaries of a Drug Addict because I share, stories from when I was in active drug addiction with opiates. Now, I still take a small amount of Kratom every day. I've been doing that for, 3 or 4 years. But I have a significantly better life balance at this point in my life. But what I do is I come on here and I share some of those stories that people are typically literally ashamed to talk about, because every day in your, ongoings throughout the day, you probably walk by, 5, 10, 15 people that have some sort of addiction to some substance, and you don't realize it because it's one of those things that's considered like taboo, and people don't talk about it, and people are ashamed to talk about it, and it's seen as, oh, they're a drug addict, and then there's this black cloud hanging over that person from that point forward, oh, they're a drug addict, that's a bad thing, I'm here to break that mold and break that stereotype, because I'm letting you know now that people are not just drug addicts. They're first mothers, sisters, brothers, fathers, children, employees that you work with, professionals, athletes. The list goes on and on and on. And there are people that you probably see on a daily basis that you would be shocked have some sort of substance abuse issue, and they just do a really, really good job of hiding it. Because don't we all? Drug addicts are some of the most manipulative, and I hate to use that word, it sounds such a negative connotation, but some of the most manipulative people that you can meet. And you don't think of manipulation being as, I'm covering up something. But as a drug addict, as a person who struggled with opiate addiction for a lot of my life, I've become a master of covering this up, and still to this day, granted, I live a much more healthier balance of life this day and age. I exercise, I eat extremely healthy. I mean, to the point where it annoys my wife sometimes, because I literally just almost won't take in anything that's not healthy for me. Drink a ton of water every day, exercise, if I mention that. You know, I work a career, I make good money. I'm a good father, I'm a good husband, you know, a supportive son to my parents, supportive brother to my brother, you know, all of these things. But I still have an underlying drug addiction. So I'm here to flip everyone's mindset. Um, because, you know, I talk about things on this channel that most people would be very ashamed to talk about and completely embarrassed to talk about. But I do that in hopes of people out there who are currently struggling with some sort of drug addiction or substance abuse problem, that maybe they will see me and say, you know what? Maybe I should just own it, you know? Because as you know, the first step in a 12-step program, and I'm not in a 12-step program, but you know, I take what I need from those programs. And one of the smartest things that has come out of a 12-step program is the very first step, which is what? Admitting it. That's right. Admitting it, owning it, that you do in fact have a problem. If you don't own it and you don't admit it, then what reason do you have to fix or correct anything in regards to your drug use? You don't, do you? And therefore you won't, will you? So that's kind of where I'm at, and I've kind of become a storyteller on here because I've done some things in my past in active drug addiction, including stealing medications from people, including my own parents. I know it sounds terrible, but I talk about it on here. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I always say that 95% of what I talk about is the bad and the ugly. But I had to go through that to get to where I am now, because I'm completely different now. But so if you enjoy this sort of format, you know, I don't edit these videos, because if you're a person who is happening across my video, that's titled like, you know, Kratom use, anything about drug addiction, something like that. If you're happening across my videos, you're not here for cool edits or transitions, or you don't want to see a video of, you know, me pumping everyone up about, you know, motivating you to get through life, get out there, exercise, you know, videos of me in the gym pumping it up, cool music behind it, you know, a gym, and then I'm just this guy sitting in this cool fat studio with a mic sitting in front of me, and I'm just, you know, this larger in life character. No, dude. No. I won't do those things because I'm a real guy. I'm an actual living guy who has a family, who works, who has dealt with active drug addiction for most of my adult life, even before I became an adult. I share those things on this channel. I talk about those things on this channel, as embarrassing and as shameful as they might be. I own it. So if this is a format that is inspiring to you, subscribe to the channel. You know, don't take the candy from the jar and not drop a quarter in. You know, I mean, this service is free. These videos are free, and I try to make them as fun and entertaining as I can. And all I ask is you just click the subscribe button. That's all you got to do, man. But anyway, I appreciate you checking back. I've been getting a lot of love on the channel recently, and that makes me feel really, really good, because like I said, I'm just some random guy. You know, I'm just some random guy here who's gone through some real life issues, and you're not the only one. Whatever your substance abuse history is, you're not the only one, and you're not the only one that's done some fucked up shit. Excuse my language. Fucked up shit in active addiction. I'm that guy, and I talk about those things. So if my channel can do anything for you, it's probably going to make you feel better about where you've been, because I did some stuff. And so I'm going to, you know, share a little bit more about that today. So when I left off yesterday, I was talking about how I got kicked out of the pain clinic. You know, I'd had a surgery on a inguinal hernia that I had. I had a repair for that. And even though the surgery took care of the pain that I was having, I lied to my surgeon and told him that I was still having the pain so that I could continue getting the narcotics every month that I was getting from the pain clinic. This went on for about 6 months or so. Eventually, I get kicked out of the pain clinic because when they do the random blood test and drug test on you to make sure that you're not getting narcotics from somewhere else, I failed that because I was taking the oxycodone that they were giving me every month, using it up in 2 weeks, and then I was out on the street looking for more or trying to steal some Darvocets or something from my parents. And so I got found out, and the pain clinic basically gave me 1/3 of what my monthly prescription is. Then they gave me a letter stating how other narcotics were found in my blood and in my system, so they could no longer, have me at the pain clinic. And then there was a list of instructions on how to taper. That was how I got kicked out of the pain clinic. So I'm in active addiction. I'm to the point with opiates where I've been taking them pretty steadily for about 1.5 to 2 years. It's definitely not my first stint of life with experimenting with opiates. I had experimented with opiates multiple times throughout life, but this was the first stretch of my life where I was taking them enough and often enough to become dependent and addicted, as in when I went to stop, I was going through major withdrawals from opiates. So that's where I was when I was with this pain clinic. So my steady stream of oxycodone is at risk. I take the 30 pills, and 30 pills aren't going to last a guy. 30 pills for a guy like me at that time, few days, man. A few days, and as soon as I picked those up, I was already contemplating. I was already thinking, how am I going to get more of these? How am I going to get more of these? How am I going to get more? How am I going to feed my addiction? Because that's what I thought about, during active drug addiction. It's 90% of what I thought about. When I was at work, I was thinking about how I was going to get my next fix. When I was with my wife, I was thinking how I was going to get my next fix. When I was with my son, I was thinking about how I was going to get my next fix. When I was with my parents, my family at a family function, I was thinking about how I was going to get my next fix. You get the point. So I'm going to share a quick story about, I've talked about the fact that I'm a 47-year-old guy. I spent probably a good decade or so between my late 20s and early 30s fighting really, really hard with this opiate addiction, right? And I was with my first wife at the time. We've been married for several years. She knew at this point that I was addicted to opiates, but a person who's never struggled with their own addiction to opiates has this unique ability to completely underestimate what a person who is addicted to opiates is willing to do for that substance, for those opiates or narcotics. And my wife was no different. She knew I was addicted to it, but for her, it was as simple as, okay, you're hurting the family, you're spending too much money, you can't stop taking them without feeling like shit, so just stop. It's not good for you, and you see it's not good for you, so just stop taking them. It's that simple, right? No. No. It's not that simple. And anyone watching my video probably knows it's not that simple. So I was always on the prowl for some opiates, right? Especially after getting kicked out of the pain clinic, and now as a drug-addicted opiate user, not having a steady supply of opiates. So now I was always, I was trying to go to people's houses purposely, just for the purpose of having an opportunity to look through some of their cabinets when they walk out of the room. Or, you mind if I use your bathroom real quick? Do you know how many bathroom cabinets I opened during my active drug addiction. And I'm not laughing because this is okay with me. I'm laughing because I'm sitting here talking about it. And this is stuff that people don't talk about. You know, people have done it, but don't talk about it. I talk about it on this channel with no fear, no reservation, because you know what? That's not me anymore. I'm past it. I'm honest with my family now. I'm honest with those around me now. My wife now, I never buy any product, whether, and Kratom's the only thing I take at this point, and I take a small amount, you know, roughly maybe around 10 grams per day. And I'm hoping to come off of that. You know, I'm not good with being even addicted to that, but that's just where I'm at right now, you know, and I'm on a taper process, but I'm honest about everything that I take these days. But I'm going to share one story, and this had to do with my first wife. So her grandparents, very nice people, we would go over to their house often on Sundays after church, and we would eat dinner there. And so this particular time, this is shortly after I had gotten kicked out of the pain clinic. So I'm at this point now where I'm looking for it anywhere that I can find any sort of opiates. I'm doing it. So at their house, this was a small home, you know, maybe 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 1 story, and pretty small kitchen, but they had it to where, you know, the kitchen and the dining room area were together. You know, the kitchen and the dining room area where the dining room table was, where you ate, was all one space, right? Is that making sense? So we're all kind of in this one space, and by all, I mean it was me, my wife at the time. This is before we had my son, so it's just me and her at this time. Her mother, both of her grandparents, and her younger brother was also there with us. So you got 6 people total in this space. Not a very large space, right? So we're all in there, we're getting food, whatever, you know, people walking back and forth, grabbing plates, grabbing, you know, glasses, whatever. We're having Sunday dinner, you know, Sunday lunch. And, you know, I look and, you know, I'm thinking it every second, you know, every few seconds. 10 seconds can't go by without thinking about narcotics, right? That's how hooked I am on these things. And if you're interested in some of my other stories, go watch some of my previous videos. You'll hear, you know, I went through some lengths, buddy, to get narcotics. And a couple of people walked out of the room. I don't remember why, but we were down to maybe, you know, 3, maybe 4 people in that space. And up in their cabinets, I recall they had, you know, a cabinet here that had like the glasses and the cups and stuff like that. And I knew that before, when I was over at this house, there was a time where I had been over there and I was looking for cups, and I opened the cabinet next to it, and it was like a medicine cabinet. You know how everyone in their home has, you know, some sort of medicine cabinet or whatever, or at least most people do. Well, theirs was in their kitchen, and I had seen this before. I hadn't taken anything out of it. I didn't even know what was in it, but I had seen this before, and I remembered having seen this before. So we're all in there eating Sunday dinner, a couple of people at the table, and mind you, this is 10 feet away, all right? The table is 10 feet away, so there are people 10 feet away from me. And I thought, how can I get into that cabinet without people knowing anything, right? I need a glass. I need a cup. So went up there, opened up the medicine cabinet, and what do I see? Staring me in the face. When you're an addict, you have a way of your mind and your eyes will pick out things quickly. I can look in a medicine cabinet and immediately I'm looking for something. And so when I pull it open, my eyes immediately lock on and gravitate to a bottle. Something that looked like, a cough syrup, right? And the second thing that I processed in my mind is, this ain't no over-the-counter cough syrup. This is a prescription cough syrup. And if you're an addict, you are one of the smartest people there is. You're educated on what can get you high. You're educated on what is a narcotic and what is not. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in active addiction I saw some specific medication and then I was looking it up on my phone, Googling it, It is so-and-so a narcotic medication? Will so-and-so cause euphoria? You've done it. You've done it. You know what I'm talking about. If you're watching this video, you've probably done it. Maybe not as much as me, but this is the stuff I talk about. It's embarrassing, but at this point, I'm so used to talking about it. It is what it is. It's my past. This is the bad and the ugly part. The good has to do with where I am now, and having made it through all of this, and with my physical faculties and my sanity. But so I see this cough syrup, right? And I immediately see that this is a prescription cough syrup. I look, I notice everybody's doing their own thing. We're in the process of getting prepared for dinner. So it's one of those things where not everyone has sat down yet. The food's on the table. So, some people are like getting napkins and getting their plates, silverware, and a couple of people are standing up, like, scooping their food out. Their backs are towards me, and there's one person that's maybe out in the living room's about to come in there, and there's one person that stepped off to the bathroom before lunch. It's just kind of like typical Sunday afternoon dinner chaos, right? I noticed this. I'm like, nobody's looking, and this is something that it happens so quick. It's taken me several minutes to explain it, but in real time, this happens so quick that I had the thought, I saw it, I had the thought, I looked, no one's looking, boom, I grab it. And that particular day, I was wearing these like cargo pants, right? So I take the bottle and I stick it into my pocket, right? And this is a big bottle, probably one of those like 6 to 8 inch tall bottles. And, but it's one of those things where I knew it was something. I knew it was something, but I didn't know what exactly it was. So I put it in my pocket. Oh, this is a good time. Let me step off to the bathroom real quick before we start dinner. Nobody knows I'm a drug addict. Nobody's thinking anything. I just go take a piss, whatever. Just dropping a deuce, whatever, making room for the food, And so I step off to the bathroom. First thing I do when I walk in the bathroom is, what do you know? Score. Got some cough syrup with codeine. And what's better, I look at the date on it. Let's see, when this happened, I was probably, this was probably like 2005, 2006, somewhere around in this area. It's been a long time ago. And, I look at the date and it's like, expires March 2003. I was like, yes, even better. This shit's 2.5 years old. They don't even know what's in there anymore. This is just something that's just hanging out up there, because I've talked about this before too. Certain things mean different things to different people. If you're not a drug addict, give a shit about some cough syrup with codeine. It's just something the doctor gave me. I'm not coughing anymore, so I don't need it. I don't give a shit, So the average person who's not a drug addict stuff like that will just sit up in their cabinet for months, years at a time. And if it doesn't get cleaned out and they don't go up in there and, purge through all their expired medications, that stuff can just sit up in people's cabinets for years at a time, and that's what this was. So it was one of those where I not only scored, I not only got the cough syrup with codeine, but it's also a medication that obviously they didn't know was up there and obviously will never miss it if it goes missing, right? So this is a perfect scenario for me. So, obviously the first thing I do is and I drink some of it, right? Because it's like half a bottle. Drink some of it. So I'm sitting there feeling right nice throughout the Sunday lunch, right? No guilt whatsoever. The fact that I had just stolen, some codeine cough syrup from my wife's grandparents at that time. And a little later on, after dinner was over with, we're all back in the, they had like a spare room back there where the kind of an office and television was. And I'm back there, and I guess I get in a weird position where, my left side and my left hip was facing my wife. And all of a sudden I see my wife's hand go like this, and she touches my pocket and is like, "What's in your pocket?" And then she's like, "Did you take that from my grandparents?" And so I'm busted now, and this is kind of where the story ends, because I don't remember exact. She caught me so many different times. This is my ex-wife, right? From when I was in my 20s. I'm a 47-year-old man now. She, poor thing, she caught me multiple times with my pants down. Say that literally too, because I expressed earlier that if you have an addiction to one thing, you usually have an addiction to other things. I had an addiction to porn too. I talk about that on this channel. Had an addiction to that, and she literally did catch me with my pants down a couple of times. Looking at porn, get ready to masturbate. Oh my God. That's why this channel is called That's Right, I Said It. Because I say that shit on here. And my laughing is more out of just almost embarrassment, like I can't believe I'm telling this. But hey, this is the bad and the ugly that addicts don't talk about. I'm talking about it. I'm divulging it because I want everyone out there to understand that there is power in talking about it. There's power in getting it off your chest. It's no longer a secret that you have to push down into the basement of your soul and the basement of your subconscious, because there's other people out there, namely me, who get it, who've been there, who've done that. We've all done stupid shit in active addiction, right? And it's all about admitting that first, so you can then make amends to it. So she found out. That was just one example of the time that she found out that I was abusing some sort of narcotic medication. And I do remember that unless I just wanted to be completely a jackass to my wife at that time, that I ended up putting the cough syrup back. I was like, damn it. And so I had to kind of wait until everything had died down a little bit and everyone was, kind of finished with dinner and whatever. And then I kind of slipped back in there, I don't know, just say I was getting a drink or wash my hands or whatever, and no one was looking. I stuck it back up in the cabinet just so I wouldn't have so much dissension with my wife at home, because obviously she was pretty pissed. I'm stealing something from her grandparents, and so that's another example of, something stupid that I did in active drug addiction. If you have, leave a comment, let me know something dumb that you did in active drug addiction. Feels good to get it off your chest, man. It really does. Again, not proud of it, but it's the old me. And this is not something that I've done in a long time, but it happened. It happened. And in order to move towards the future, I have to acknowledge my past and acknowledge what I've done in my past. as a means for moving forward without seeing that bad and that ugly again in my life. You know, so like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know your own experience, and I appreciate you guys checking in for another episode. I will see you next time. Peace.